All right, hey guys, welcome to another bag review you didn't ask for. So, we'll be doing a breakdown of my packing for my upcoming trip to Oceania. I'll be going to New Zealand and Australia. So, a few things I want to talk about just briefly that influenced my packing is I'm going to Australia / New Zealand in December and January. So because it's in the southern hemisphere, it's actually summer there. So it actually makes it much easier for me to pack because I don't actually have to bring winter clothes. So all I'm bringing is what I'm going to carry on the plane, which is going to be this Uniqlo sweater I have and these jeans because on the plane it can get cold, but otherwise I basically only plan on wearing shorts. So we'll get into all of the rest of the stuff. As you can see, we have a few things laid out. Just a brief overview. We have the Bellroy, I think, light travel pack. Anyways, this is, well, if I am saying the wrong name, we'll say it later. But this is probably my favorite bag at the moment. It's a 30-liter bag and it opens very nicely, and I think it's like probably the most like surprisingly spacious bag I have. Then we have the sling, in which we talked about before, headphones, and then the demonstration shoes because my main shoes are too dirty. All right, so we'll quickly go over the Bellroy Venture sling that I have. Basically, I won't go over it again because I went over it for the most part in the previous video. However, I do want to say a few things that I added. New night mask. And then I believe I also have my light umbrella in here now. Just because there are quite a few occasions where I had my umbrella in the main bag and I went out, it started raining and I didn't have my umbrella. So I just decided to keep the umbrella always on the sling just for
Can you show us the umbrella?
So yes, this is, I have no clue what this brand is, but I bought this in Singapore, I think, at what's it called? Boarding Gate, and Knerps. So Knerps. It's a very light, very slim profile umbrella. And from here, I mean, it's only useful for one person. So if you anticipate having to, what's it called? Create coverage for more than just yourself, maybe consider getting a bigger umbrella, or maybe get two. But this is good for me because, especially with traveling, yeah, having this is useful. And sometimes at TSA, they'll have me remove this, but it's very convenient since I already have like my iPad and a battery pack in here. Removing it is not that much of a hassle.
If it rains, what happened to Katie?
I usually leave her outside of the umbrella's range, and she has to follow me. Water evaporates, you know? And here, my eye mask. My mother recently bought this for me for Christmas, so I've been using it the last couple days. No clue what this brand is. What does it say? Yeah, no clue. There's a V. But super nice. I think it's silk.
Yeah.
I think it's silk. So, highly recommend it. Super cool. I mean, half the reason also why I'm not sticking with the Matador one was because Owen Jones lost his, so I gave him my one, and so just fortunately enough, my mother gifted me this, so now I'm using this. But other than that, I believe there are no changes to this sling. But also comes with a nifty bag. We just shove it in here, and then this is it. All right, so now I think correcting the name, this is the Bellroy Light Travel Pack. Once again, my favorite bag at the moment. So this is where the bulk of my stuff's going to be in. And then we're just going to weigh it real quickly, and we're going to have Lynn weigh it because I'm not going to step on the scale right now for Christmas reasons. I should have said festive reasons.
Let me see.
Okay, we're here.
Can you see?
So Lynn is currently, let's see, 71.7. Okay, and then we have this backpack. And the reason, I mean, I'll talk about this in a moment. And then this one is 82 so around 10 kilos, 11 kilos.
I don't feel like it's 10 kilos though.
Yeah.
It feels super light.
I actually do think, because what's it called? Okay, the padding here is actually quite nice. Like it's a nice little mesh where it's like, you can see how it kind of like, it's very breathable, quite good straps even though they're stowable. Anyways, we'll go back to me. So, as Lynn said, it doesn't feel like it's 10 kilos. And I wish I was sponsored by Bellroy so I could feel like, but I am not. But I still think it's very convenient, very nice. One issue though, they do have this like harness strap that for the love of God of me, I can't make work. Or I'll try to do this one. I'm either getting strangled, but then it just doesn't stay in place. So besides that, it's a great bag. This I feel like is pretty useless unless I don't know how to use it. But anyways, we'll talk about this bag a little bit. Just what are some of the features that I think are very good. One, the reason, especially because depending on what airline you're going to fly, you're going to want to consider what bag you take, because some airlines are stricter about what type of stuff you can carry on. So sometimes you're only allowed one bag, you're allowed 2 bags, and then sometimes there's a weight restriction. That's why we weighed it just now. So let's say this is 11 kilos. Often this is going to be heavier than what most airlines allow you to carry, especially if they weigh your bag. But let's say you're not flying budget, they're unlikely going to weigh your bag. So the reason why I like having this is, especially when I'm flying with different airlines and I'm traveling long term, having this bag gives me the option to be able to check this in. And we'll describe what I do in a check-in situation later. But let's say I want to check this in. One thing I really like is that I can then stow the straps away where I just slide this in. And I do have another bag on the inside, which I will talk about later. But you see how we can just push this in, and we'll edit this so I do it a little bit quicker, hopefully. Or Lynn's just gonna make you suffer through this.
Probably not gonna edit this.
Okay, you can see it's packed pretty full, and we'll explain why later. But let's say I want to check this in. Okay, we have a great check-in, and obviously we're going to make some changes as we check it in. My electronics are going to move to my secondary bag. My laptop, which we'll talk about later, is also going to move into that bag. But yeah, so you see we have a lot of options. Nice little side handle, all this, and I just like that as an overall clean look. Other features I like, great quick access at the top here. So if we see, I believe they call it an admin panel. Here I basically store this buff I have, and then my air tech kit. And this is thanks to Andy and John for actually gifting this to me. Also my sponsors. But yeah, we'll go over this later, as well as having, it's like fairly spacious actually and super accessible. And then we have the main compartment, laptop compartment, and an extra compartment here where I keep like bands, especially when I travel and can't necessarily find a gym. We like to keep it there. Anyways, so that's just like the brief overview. One thing that I don't like about this, and a lot of Bellroy's bags that frustrate me a little bit, is the lack of a water bottle compartment. Actually, Bellroy's new transit travel bag, there's a 20 liter and like a 28 liter. It's so odd. Actually, this is a separate video I should probably do, where the 20 liter has a great admin panel at the top, but no water bottle pocket. The 20 liter 28 liter doesn't have the admin panel, but has the water bottle holder. So I feel like Bellroy is just fucking with people. They're like, okay, we're gonna have 2 great upgrades to the original transit bag, but then just put them on different sizes. Because for me, I say for my use case, if I had the 28 liter with the admin panel on top and the water bottle holder, I think this would be one of the best bags for me. Still, I prefer this one. If this one had a water bottle holder, perfecto. I do like the color and the look of the transit bag more. But anyways, I think it's the Transit Bag Pro. Anyways, maybe Lynn will edit this out. Maybe he can put this at the end for useless rants. Anyways, we'll go into the main compartment now, where from here, one of the things I really like about this is it opens into a very nice clamshell style compartment. So from here, you see we have the main section, which is, as you can see, quite voluptuous. Voluminous.
I don't even know what that means.
Big space.
Okay.
And then this is also quite substantial. So we'll start with, let me think, what do we reckon we'll start with? We'll start with this little light pocket at the top. Because some of the space is taken up by the electronics pouch up here, I basically just store my battery, Anker battery. super cool because from here you see, it tells you the battery percentage, and then, actually, let's see. So let's say I have my phone here, and I'm like, oh wow, I really need to charge my phone. A feature that you don't really need, but is super fun, is that when you do charge it, let's see, it'll tell you how long it takes to charge. So right now we see it's 18:16, it's slowly charging through. We'll wait a little bit, and then it'll kind of buffer into how long it takes to charge. So it looks like it's settling on 6 hours. How much battery do I have? There's no way it's 6 hours. Okay. We have some tape. I used to use this tape to cover my mouth because I mouth breathe, but when I sleep, but I don't use it anymore.
Then why do you bring it?
I forgot to take it out.
Okay.
It's fine though, I might use it. Anyways, let's actually talk about the side compartment first. So we have our DJI camera that Lynn's currently using to film, but I also have one just in case I need to film techniques, film seminars. This is usually what I film it on. This is the DJI Pocket Pro, Pocket Mini,
3.
Pocket 3. Super nice, convenient. Exactly what this video is being filmed on right now.
You can get sponsored by DJI too.
Bro, that'd be so sick. And anyways, so this is super convenient. We also have gifts for my girlfriend, but we'll leave this to the side. And then we have another backpack. So the reason why this is so packed out is because there's another backpack in here. And if you couldn't tell, I really like Bellroy, and I'm very much a consumer of theirs. This is also a Bellroy light tote pack. And the reason why I have this is because this is probably my favorite overall travel setup. This is a slimmed down version, but usually when I'm traveling, like perpetual travel, long-term travel, let's say I'm going away for 6 months, I'll have this bag, and my sling. So what this is a very interesting dynamic, and I think it works very well. The issue with having a small backpack when you travel as in accompaniment with a main backpack is that often it's not comfortable to carry. And I prefer having a backpack to wheeled luggage because I think it's more convenient. I've used wheeled luggage before, and especially when you don't know where you're going next, it can be a pain in the ass sometimes. There are stairs, all this type of stuff. So as you can see, this is very obviously a tote. However, I don't like totes generally because I think you have all your stuff on one side, you get lopsided. However, the great thing about this tote pack, if you can guess by the name, is that similar to the main backpack, it can turn into a backpack. And so when I'm from the day to day, wherever I'm in my location, I'm not taking this bag everywhere. I'm going to take this bag, and this is going to be for daily use. The one downside is it's top loading, but even though it's top loading, as long as you don't like put everything you own in there, usually I just bring this for training and just walking around on a day-to-day basis. It's no issue, and it can be accompanied by the sling. I do like that there's some compartmentalization here, where I can put a water bottle, I can put my DJI, very convenient. Anyways, so we know that that's tucked in here, so that let's say, let's say I'm traveling on a budget airline and I do need to check this in. I'm gonna put all the things I don't want to be checked in into this bag, and this is gonna be my new carry-on bag, and that's gonna be my personal item. So just a nice little like cool dynamic you can use with your bags depending on how important that is to you. So now we pack it away. It's obviously not the ideal in terms of like, it's not like the best packable bag. It does take up more space than like, let's say a Matador refraction pack or something like this. However, I do like being able to choose between it being a tote or a backpack. And so far, in terms of tote packs, I know like a few other brands have one, but this is definitely my favorite by far, just because of like the clean aesthetic and how functional it is. Like there are a few other brands that do manufacture tote packs, but they're a little bit like either over-engineered, like there's straps everywhere, or I don't know, I just don't like it. Maybe it's just because I'm in love with Bellroy right now. But yeah. All right, so now getting into the main compartment. This is where most of the bulk of your items are gonna be. So we see we have a few packing cubes here. We have their toiletry bag, we got the Rashguard, then we got the kind of daily wear here. So you can see the packing cubes here. Okay, so we have our main packing cube with most of our clothes. We have packing cube with my rash guards. We got the toiletry bag from before, I believe. We have our knee brace, Matador dry pack, some creatine, and a multivitamin that my mother bought me because she wants me to have them. So,
Why do you have your face on?
oh yeah, because I bought my whole family creatine, and so we basically didn't want to share creatine. So I think my mother put stickers on these to.
Your mom and your sister also take creatine.
I tried making them take creatine. I don't know if they're taking it, but
Okay.
they said it's good for you, for women as well. But it's also good for your brain, apparently. I'm not a doctor. Anyway, so we'll go. We got this random multivitamin that my mom bought. We got this creatine. It's just
It
convenient.
has your face on it.
Has my face on it. Yes. We have our toiletry pack, same as before. We won't go into that too much. We got into some controversy in regards to what we have in the toiletry pack. And
Dr. Chen.
I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you what to do. Just when you're traveling in the US and you don't want to spend $300 on a minute clinic appointment, sometimes, yeah. Anyways, it's not my country's healthcare that's fucked. Anyways, we have our Matador dry pack, 8 liters. This is usually what I like to use. Just very good, robust, hasn't broken. You do see a bit of fraying here, but this is after a lot of use and abuse. And
you wash them in the washing machine,
I put them in the washing machine as well every so often just because I don't want it to be completely disgusting. Has a nice little handle here. And then we have a Bauerfind knee brace, courtesy of Chris Wojcik. He gifted this to me after Hulk cast-icered me and then injured my knee, so I still carry this with me just in case. Sometimes shit happens.
Do you use them?
I used it sometimes, you know. Oh. Not right now, but sometimes. And then, well, this is our Decathlon packing cube. That's fairly nice. You can see we packed a bunch of aesthetic rash guards in here. Okay. We have some new things that probably will be launched fairly soon. Maybe around the time this video comes out. I have no clue. You can see rash guards, all these rash guards. We have 1 pair, 2 pairs, 3, 4, 5 pairs in here. I think this is honestly, for the most part, gonna be enough, especially if you have access to a washing machine. So like, let's say you train 2 times a day, you can make it like 2.5 days. You should be fine. And then without doing washing. Obviously that is not ideal situation, but it's still like completely acceptable. And then maybe you might have to like make a run to the laundromat, but that's fine. And then we have this main Muji packing cube with 2 compartments. We got the bottom compartment, which you can't really see, which is going to be Spats 88 Rising Towel. I think I got at, I don't even remember where I got it. Aesthetic workout shirt, super comfortable. I'm not even joking, even though they sponsor me. Very surprisingly comfortable. More spats. So you can see spats are pretty important to me. Just in terms of trying to avoid staph infection. Yes, and then also cuts, you know, sometimes, what's it called? People don't cut their fingernails. Bro, I got, what's it called? Kenta cut me through my own spats, and then this cut got infected. Anyways, we probably shouldn't put that in there. And also, I like spats because people's fingernails cut off pieces of my tattoo. I feel like every time this happens, I'm losing money. If you see this is recent, that's probably, we shouldn't put that in there, but we'll cover it. Look, this, someone scratched out my tattoo. This also, someone scratched out my tattoo. So I'm forced to wear spats now because of people, whoever did that. Anyways, so actually, 1 pair of spats, I think I got a few questions on this, where this was the pair of spats I wore in my Polaris, the Grand Prix. They're actually really awesome. These are like swimming pants from Decathlon. They're actually like really great because they're not too slippery and they're not too thick. They're relatively thin And from here you can see, I mean, they have the stripes, which I'm not the best fan of, but super comfortable. What is this brand? Whatever this is, you know? So, I mean, I actually think I had like...
Is it waterproof?
Not waterproof, but it's like for going into the water, you know?
Usually
like
those
surfing, I think.
Usually they will have like, what's it called?
Not a wetsuit.
Not a wetsuit.
It's like UV resistant. You see, it's like UPF 50 plus UV protection, something like this. But great spats, honestly. I'm a big fan. If you have decathlon in your country, highly recommend it.
Okay.
Anyways, now to this main permeable compartment. I don't know if you even know if I'm using the word right, but for me, very simple. I'm a man of very little needs. I need more rash guards than I need anything else. Maybe I need the same amount of underwear, but we have probably what I think is probably some of the most comfortable underwear in the world, and I think PJ Barch agrees. He almost stole my underwear because I had to lend it to him one day, and then he was like, I might not give these back to you. And I said, that's not funny. Wow. But these are the Aerism Uniqlo underwear. Super comfortable. Like, I'm not going to wear them for you, but you can take my word for it. Am I wearing this now? I'm wearing it right now. So it's basically all I wear, aside from this pair of underwear that I carry, which has my dog's face on it. And this is the exception, you know? Then, in conjunction with the pairs of underwear we have, I believe we have like 6 or so underwear, which is similar to the degree in which we have like the same amount of Rashguard sets we have. So the idea is for that to kind of be similar. Also, especially being in a summer climate, you might sweat a fair bit, so you would want changes of clothes. So I have t-shirt, another t-shirt here, and then we got a pair of shorts. Probably should bring more t-shirts, especially because these are cotton. They can smell. I might bring my merino shirt, but I haven't packed it yet. Might wear it on the plane. We're not sure yet.
I feel like you don't need them because everywhere you visit, they're going to give you some t-shirt.
This is also true. I do anticipate receiving gym merch, so this could very well be what I wear. So this is also something to take into consideration. How accessible is clothing where you're going? Anyway, so I believe for the most part, I mean, this is what's in my bag, I guess. And then aside from that, we can do another, that's the main compartment. All right, so now we'll go to the admin panel. Just a quick talk about the tech pouch. We also have wet wipes and all this type of stuff. What is this? Oh, we also have Bounce Man. What's piece. That? I think I got this at a Kacha in, I think in Shibuya actually, something like, my sister got it for me, I think. Anyways, not important. Now we have the Air Tech Pouch. I have no clue what model this is, because it was a gift, but super nice actually. I thought it was like, it's rather slim profile, so I thought, wow, might not be able to fit everything I need in here, but for the most part, I mean, it actually fits a surprising amount. So if we open it up, you see we have 2 main compartments. We have here where I actually have my travel adapter, which is I bought this in Malaysia, where you have all the different places where you might need to travel to. You have all their plugs, which is great. And then it comes with USB-C, and unfortunately, no USB ports. I only have one USB port, and I have my Anker socket thing there, so that's fine. Once again, we have the DJI mics, which we use time to time. We have this microphone thingy. I never use them, but I don't even know why people use them. But
it's like when it's windy, when you're outdoor.
Okay, and then actually something I think my family got for me that's super useful is this travel dongle. I know it's called dongle. I plug this into my computer because Apple likes having only 2 USB-C plugs. So if you want to plug more than 2 things in, very difficult at times. So having all of these, I mean, for the most part, I've mostly used the other USB-C. HDMI not so much, USB not so much, SD cards not so much. Ethernet, depends on your use case, could be helpful, but not for me. And once again, we have our SanDisk. We have our SanDisk USB-C, not USB-C, USB or hard drive, where this is where most of like so I don't have to store all my stuff on my computer. But if I do lose this, I will be mildly upset. Anyways, I mean, that's the brief overview of the tech pouch. Not too much in here, but basically my essentials. We obviously have some other tech in more accessible areas if necessary, but this is like the auxiliary tech. And yeah. All right, and so last but not least, we're gonna talk about the shoes I wear. And this is a controversial opinion to most of my friends and family, but I only travel with one pair of shoes. Which is this pair of shoes. These are like the Vivo, I don't know, VIVO something. They're like Crocs, but barefoot shoes. And for me at least, okay. This process of wearing socks is very annoying for me. So I don't have to wear socks with these, especially in a summer climate, but even when it's like mildly cold and rainy. And when it's rainy, if I wear this, I just wash my feet. I'm good. I don't have to worry about ruined shoes and socks. Lynn's shaking his head. Also, I don't wear flip-flops. Why? Because I have cut my foot multiple times on either escalators or bike stands. Like, cut my foot to the point where I've had to get stitches on my feet because of how exposed my feet are. So, I use these. So, I get the benefits of not having to wear socks, but also get the protection of what you get with a shoe. And then you also have them, barefoot shoes, which is super nice. This is the demonstration one. We'll have a quick cut in and cut out of the real ones because they're quite messed up. These are in much nicer condition. The one criticism I have with these shoes is that they do wear out fairly quickly, especially if you only wear them, like myself. But I'll be getting a new pair very soon. I think they're on their way. It'll be my third pair of them, just because I made the mistake of actually trying to run in them once, on tarmac, which definitely shredded them fairly quickly. We'll bring in the new ones.
Bro, there's no way I can edit this. 刚刚的 angle 都不一样。
差不多.
Okay.
Anyways, you see, fucked up shoes. I fucked up the laces. You see, this isn't even together, Anyways, dirty shoes. Don't care about them. All right, so now coming to the end of the video, last but not least, I do want to talk about these headphones. Not ideal. I did my previous ones. I feel like this is, what headphone is this called? WMX5, something like that?
I think it's like XM5.
XM5, let's call this the XM5. I did have the XM4s for a while, but it broke. They broke on me after a couple of years, so switched to these. Don't like them as much in the sense of, because they don't fold up as nicely. The XM4s, they fold up to like quite small, like this size. These only do this. This doesn't bend, which is mildly annoying, but I can tolerate it because they're good headphones. Relatively, I think, good value for money. I think I use this, especially on planes. I think having this on a plane is a huge game changer. Generally, otherwise, I just use it to work out. Actually, I was talking to the guy at the shop I bought this at, and I was trying to decide between like these Bose headphones and these. And the main deciding factor was, this is like, I don't know what material this is, but I believe it's an artificial material. And then the Bose ones are like lambskin or some sheepskin, something like this, more organic. And he said, if you sweat in these headphones, you want this material in comparison to the Bose headphones. So this is why I got these instead. And this is something my sister crocheted. I think it's like a leaf or something. So, because this is like a very common pair of headphone, I do think having something to distinguish it from other people's headphones is very useful. So yeah, I mean, that's it for the video. I mean, hopefully you guys enjoyed another video you didn't ask for, and but hopefully that someone finds this interesting or maybe useful. But yeah, it's not as long as the last one.